I have $92,000 invested in the NEOS funds, QQQI, SPYI, and IWMI. I'm going to start a position in a few days. I have to sell some Fidelity small cap funds that's been doing pretty horrible over the last 5 years. So I'm going to get rid of that. The average yield is just crazy, guys, for these three funds, 13.2. How are they doing? Let's take a look at the numbers, guys. If you're enjoying this type of content, please remember to hit that subscribe button, guys. Totally free to subscribe. If you don't subscribe, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. It'll really help us out. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. Let's see what the summary says about these companies here. Let's start off with the QQQI, the NEOS High Income Nasdaq Fund. Total assets of $7.4 billion. Inception date. They're all relatively new funds, guys. So you got to be kind of careful with that. You know, I have 5% of my portfolio in these three funds. You know, so I'm gonna keep it around there. Inception date, like I said, January 24th. So it's been around 2 years now. The investment seeks to generate high monthly income in a tax-efficient manner with the potential for equity appreciation. The fund is actively managed. It seeks to achieve its investment objective by investing in a portfolio of stocks that make up the NASDAQ 100. The other two funds are relatively the same. I'm not going to read everything. The NEOS S&P 500 High Income, of course, invests in the S&P 500. We're looking at $6.9 billion in total assets, and inception date August 22nd. So that's basically the oldest out of the three here. And then you're looking at the NEOS Russell 2000 High Income ETF, $452 million total assets, and inception date 6/24. As we go over to the fees and expenses, they all have the same fee, 0.68. The quotes, close of business 1/23/2026 on QQQI. We're looking at almost 54 in the 52-week range. It's about 41 to 56. We're looking at the Spyi here, SPYI, quote of 52.52, and it has a 52-week range of about 42 to 53. The Russell 2000 IWMI closed at about almost 51 and a range of 38 to 51. And this is the fun part, guys. This is what I love. I'm close to retirement, so I'm looking for more income. We're in the low 40s of yearly dividend income. Hopefully, by the end of the year, we get to 50. That's the goal, 50,000 in dividends by the end of the year. QQQI has a yield of 13.83. They all pay monthly, guys. SPYI, 11.71, and IWMI 14.6. As I'm looking at my numbers between these three funds, I'm gonna get a little bit over $1,000 this coming month. It's just great, guys. You know, we're looking at around 809 shares of QQQI, 737 of SPYI, and 180 shares of the Russell 2000. I'm taking SPYI up to 800, and I'm letting everything reinvest the dividend, so everything's being reinvested. I haven't made up my mind yet how high I'm going to go with the Russell 2000. I'm not going to go too high, maybe 2 or 300 shares, because I don't want to, have my portfolio go over like 5 or 6% of these three funds. Please let me know in the comments if you invested in any of these three funds, or what other call option funds you guys are invested in. As we go into the Morningstar ratings, they only have ratings on SPYI. It's been around the longest. Overall rating 4 stars, 3-year rating 4 stars, which is great. Historic return high, and the historic risk average. As we look at a growth of a $10,000 investment, I did it, I believe, for 3 years since they haven't been around long. And as you can see, QQQI is doing better than the S&P 500 index. It's always good to be diversified. You should always have an S&P 500 index fund. I'm going to leave a link at the end of the video to my S&P 500 video comparing VU and SWPPX, the Schwab S&P 500 index. But as you could see how they're doing here, Qqqi is doing better than the S&P. The Spyi, it's a little less than the S&P, and IWMI is holding up the bottom here, as you see. As we look at the portfolio, let's start off with Qqqi, 107 holdings. The top 10 companies make up almost 52%. And it's basically all in stocks, cash, and the other is basically the call options and stuff. So it's basically all in stocks, all three, as you could see here. SPYI, 511 total holdings. The top 10 companies make up 39%. The NEOS Russell 2000 has 7 holdings. It's basically all in a Vanguard Russell 2000 ETF. So you guys are going to see that down the road when we look at the portfolio. And it basically makes up, the 7 make up basically the whole ETF, everything invested. As we go over to the year-end performance, I like to look at the long-term and year-end. You could see the year-end performance for Qqqi, almost 19%. SPYI, it's been around longer. You could see the last 3 years, pretty good there, you know. They probably average, 18%, not bad for 3 years. And the yearly performance for the Russell was 15. So they're not doing bad at all, guys. That's why I'm in these funds. I like the way they grow, and I like the income. As we look at the top 10 holdings, we'll start off with Qqqi and SPYI. They're basically the same, a few differences. So we'll go just down one. NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, Google Class A, Meta Class A, Google Class C, Broadcom, and Walmart. A few differences here. You got First American Treasury obligations for the SPY. And that's about it. Everything else is the same. And of course, the Vanguard of the Russell 2000, basically all in the Vanguard Russell 2000 ETF VTWO, which if you go into it, it's been doing great over the years, especially long term. It's over like 20% over 10 years. And the sector weightings, of course, the biggest sector is usually IT, and it's going to be IT for the NASDAQ fund. And you guys could just go down the list here. You have communication services, consumer discretionary, and the financials. Usually those are the top few funds. And again, guys, you know, I'm close to retirement, so I'm looking for more yield. You know, I am diversified. I do have a lot of growth ETFs. If you go in and look at my portfolio, which is available on my channel. But of course, guys have to be careful, because this is a relatively new funds, all three of them. So you don't go crazy and put too much into it, but just, you know, be safe. And again, thanks for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button or that thumbs up to help us out. Thanks so much.